These are the stories
There is a foundation out there that helps you get back into it.
of organizations making a difference
What really limits our ability to do something is people's imagination.
and empowering others across Canada.
When I get into that sledge, I'm free, man. I'm playing hockey.
It's a great organization and it's worth supporting.
In our community.
My name is Jeff Scott, and I grew up in the mountains.
Jeff is an athlete and the executive director of the Live It, Love It Foundation.
Every weekend in the wintertime, for as long as I can remember, we were skiing or boarding, and that was just what we were doing.
My name is Lindsay Garricky.
Lindsay is Jeff's sister, who volunteers at the RADaptive Sit Ski Camp.
We spent a lot of our time together in Smithers on the ski hill growing up. We kind of grew up doing it with our parents and as a family, but then made friends and started doing it on our own, and we would take off early on the weekends just to get to the ski hill. And
After my accident, I knew that I had to find a way to retain the mountains. In 2011, I was going through rehab, and Izzy Lynch came to me and said, I want to start this foundation. The Live It, Love It Foundation is a nonprofit organization, and we work to empower individuals. The big mountain world is a bit of a new frontier for adaptive skiing. There is no adaptive category for big mountain competition. We're working towards building one. This year we've got the RADaptive camp going on in Revelstoke. Today we've got a radio interview.
So let's start right off with what is adaptive sport?
You think of a sport and there's an adaptive alternative for it. Me personally, I'm a big fan of getting back skiing. Skiing's been a big part of my life. I'm a C5, 6 quadriplegic, so I broke my neck, so I don't have much muscle function below my shoulders, and I don't have good hands. So I'm on a bi-ski. I've actually got a handlebar out behind me that someone holds on to, so I actually ski with someone.
It feels like I'm a kid again, and I'm just back at the sliding hill with my friends bombing down on a GT. Very responsive to any kind of input I give, so it allows me to initiate turns. I'm low to the ground, I'm dragging my hands in my turns, and going fast.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time. If you want to learn more, you can go to liveitloveit.org. You can find them on Facebook. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to give me a chat.
Just got word that our first athlete has arrived in Revelstoke up at the resort, so we're gonna go join him on the beautiful patio.
We sit here with a giant.
Don Nesbitt is an OG in the skateboarding, snowboarding, and action sports world. In other words, he's been around since the beginning. Don has a YouTube channel where he posts some of the craziest sit-ski riding you'll see in gorgeous mountain settings. Breathtaking footage that really shows you what's possible on a sit-ski. Don, Jeff, and other members of the crew meet at a pub in Revelstoke for a bingo fundraiser the night before the camp begins.
We've got a small group of athletes that charge. We got Cam Lockheed here, last year's Big Mountain Adaptive Contest winner.
First met Jeff through a few friends of mine through the ski racing scene. I skied my whole younger years, up until 17. I got in a pretty bad car accident.
Cam's sister, Megan Lockheed, joins the crew as a volunteer at this year's camp.
The first thing he did was literally get rid of all of his sports equipment. I think it just hurt him too much. Like, it was just like too emotionally hard to have.
Took me a really long time to get back to the mountains. I didn't think that a whole lot was possible on a sit ski. I saw a video that Solomon shot, shout out to Josh Dewick, and it just blew me away. I couldn't believe, what was actually possible in this thing.
I think it wasn't until he could manage it on his own when he just took off. And he's like, okay, no, this is awesome.
The RADaptive Big Mountain Camp is a 3-day event. This is sort of the one time a year that we all get to, be together and ski together again. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's been through some pretty gnarly stuff in their life, and it seems to build character in people. There's this camaraderie aspect to it that is just, it's unlike anything else.
Get to reminisce, talk about what you want to ski tomorrow. It's a big part of skiing is après and hanging out.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
After a fun night out on the town, the crew assembles up at the mountain the next morning to begin camp.
Let's get the skis up on the Gandhi and go get some turns.
With breathtaking scenery in every direction, the crew gets a sense of the wild, big mountain terrain they're bringing themselves into. Ben Thompson, who's an athlete and also one of the coaches at the camp, gives us an intro to the equipment.
We just got to the top of the Revelstoke gondola, and I just wanted to introduce you to the sit-ski parts. Start from the bottom up. We've got a metal foot that clips into a normal ski binding. We've got suspension that makes taking all the bumps a lot easier. You've got a big metal frame to support all your weight. Different straps for holding in your toes, straps for holding in yourself. We'll have different height backs for different people. And then these are the outriggers. Consists of a hand grip, a piece on your forearm to help stabilize, and then it's about a 2-foot shaft with a small ski on the end, so you can push yourself around in the flats and make turns.
We've got Odie Pierce, heavy hitter coming out of the States.
Back in Whitefish, we do a lot of tree skiing. I lived in Jackson Hole before that, and I was always told Revelstoke was like the spot to go, you know?
This mountain is becoming more well-known, but really it's this like hidden gem of a mountain. These 3 lifts are taking us into unreal terrain.
I've done a lot of ski camps, and this is really outstanding what they're doing here.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
Day number 1 of the RADaptive sit-ski camp. We're looking at athletes and running them through a set of drills that are essential in the big mountain world.
Last year's contest winner and sit-ski coach Cam Lockheed takes us through a drill.
Doing something called dressage. It's just a drill that gets you more reactive so that when you get into some sketchy stuff, you kind of got it in your back pocket. It's essentially keeping a really flat ski and making really reactive, quick turns with your ski while keeping your outriggers facing down the hill. We're going to do falling leaf, just another kind of safety mechanism if you're in super sketchy, steep terrain.
The athletes are now getting a taste of what this world-class terrain entails.
It was great to see the improvement in returning athletes, and the new athlete, Odie Pierce, was an awesome addition, really pushed our group. Day 2, the RADaptive sit-ski camp in Revelstoke. We're looking to explore the mountain, check out some new terrain up at the International Free Ski and Snowboard Association's contest. We are sitting here in North Pole. Had to come over and take a look.
So in front of us, we got a big face, and we got some free skiers coming down, hucking off a few cliffs on the way down.
So we wanted to come and see where the IFSA was running their event and whether we could get into the same entrance as them to potentially partake in the contest. We're not going to join them as access is more difficult than it needs to be. So after some of the athletes saw the runs we were considering, they had to go get some. So we sent a couple athletes with some volunteers, and they went and skied some of this big mountain terrain in North Pole. Does Pro Patrol want us to throw some sit skiers in North Pole or what?
Get out of the comfort zone and step it up.
The athletes drop into a huge alpine bowl that works its way down into the trees, right beside the International Free Ski Competition, showing the crowd what they can really do.
Watching some of our athletes ski North Pole was pretty cool.
Take it to the next level. That's always been the point of Live It, Love It.
It's big terrain, it's open. There were some spicy sections where guys had to come in quick. Huge shout out to all of our volunteers. This weekend, I had 2 guys skiing with me, both of who like to maybe get a little sendy.
After an awesome day on the mountain, the crew heads back to town for some dinner and drinks. Jeff's sister Lindsay is approached by one of the locals.
Last night, something really cool happened at dinner. We were all sitting together, and this chick walks up and she's like, "Hey, were you guys on the hill today?" And a couple of us, yeah. And she's like, "I saw you. I took a video." And it was so inspiring. Like, I have a friend who's been injured just recently. He's in the hospital. I took a video and I sent it to him, and it like changed his day, and it like moved him in a way that he really needed. There's this ripple effect outside that is like really, really special.
I was able to regain a part of myself, a piece of my identity that I got back, which I felt like I had lost. At the end of the day, you got to keep living your life. For me, hugely important to pursue my passions again, and that was sort of what was able to sort of dig me out of the hole almost, you know. Felt first 8-10 years of post-injury, I felt like I was in a pretty crazy fog.
When Jeff first got hurt, I mean, we were more like terrified for like his life and his livelihood, like what that would look like. But then as he started to recover, it was just our belief, like whatever he wanted, we would find a way to make that happen. As a team, as a family, as a community, like finding a way to be on snow was just a natural progression for whenever he was ready. And even though he's still like a snowboarder at heart, I think you'll hear him say that. I think sit skiing is like as close to that feeling and passion as he could like ask for. We didn't have a plan, but we just did it anyways. And every step that you would get to, you'd kind of brainstorm and think, okay, how do we overcome this obstacle? And then you would. If you look at the whole mission, you're kind of like, how are we going to do this? It seems impossible. You can't have that attitude. It has to be just like small steps and just be there, be part of it. Pretty soon you'll look back and you'll see, wow, we've done amazing things.
It's hard to put into words how pumped I am to have my sister here, you know. We grew up riding together, and to have her here at this event. I looked over on one of the runs today, and we were just like carving, and it was a very like simple thing, but it felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be, having her beside me.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community.
Day 3, you can feel energy is apprehensive. Everyone knows we've got the contest today and we've got our run chosen. Athletes have skied it. We've got Jeff here today to help us shape this big mountain contest.
My name is Jeff Holden. I'm a judging director on the International Free Skiers and Snowboarders Association. Doing a little judging of their grassroots comp here on Separate Reality in Revelstoke.
We got the cat ski trip as the top prize. We're in the bottom of a bowl. We've got trees, some good open areas, a couple little cliff bands, a lot of moguls. The conditions this year are very intermittent, very crusty. You can hear people skiing down.
It'd be a little hard to make any of that look good.
The event we're at this weekend is all about pushing the limits with sit skiing and getting them into some big mountain terrain.
The athletes session the terrain around the competition area, pumping each other up as they cheer each other on and push the limits of what's possible on the run. Many of the riders have abilities far beyond even well-seasoned, able-bodied athletes. To experience them having full control on gnarly terrain is spectacular.
Full send Sunday.
I think probably be best to concentrate in the areas that have had the most sun exposure at this point.
We are at the judging station for the contest, going over a bit of the terrain that we're going to allow the athletes to ski. So the entrance you guys came in on, if you cut across underneath the cliff band over to that line Aaron's looking at.
Last year we had some deeper snow and it was easier to sort of charge off some cliffs and do some steep stuff. And this year you wouldn't be doing that with these conditions. It's just not safe or fun.
First up, last year's contest winner Cam drops in. Next, Ben Thompson and his brother Jeff have a go. Next, RADaptive athlete Aaron drops in with one of the best runs yet. Cam drops in on his second and final run. Though he gets a little tripped up on some unfortunate terrain, most of his run is flawless. Odie Pierce, the new athlete from the States, drops in and totally blows the crowd away. With alternative line choices, some interesting drops, and rad little side hits, he manages to find to top things off. The crew lines up for their final runs as the contest comes to a close.
Nicely done, buddy.
Let's all cheer for Chris when he comes through.
Our community will return after the break. We now return to our community. Jeff skis up to the group to reveal the contest results.
With the invite to the Mustang trip this year, 2019, Odie.
Right on.
Jeff Holden, the IFSA star judge, also weighs in.
That was pretty awesome to have a couple of events going on here today, and hopefully we'll keep working together to bring them together in the future. We saw some good riding. Camaraderie was definitely high.
Stoked to see some new terrain and be up with all these guys. It was kind of through just, Facebook, social media. I'd never met anybody at this camp. There's not a single person here that I've met before. So to have just drove up from Whitefish and just showed up and be totally welcomed and the only person here for their first year and the only person from the US, I think is pretty sick. If we can get into something like the IFSA or the Free Ride World Tour, maybe get some sponsors for some, for some riders, whether that be skis or, even full ride sponsors would be just so cool to be able to travel and, just spread the word.
These guys burn through skis.
Yeah.
Aaron was saying he's
35 or something.
35 days in the season and he's averaging a ski a day.
To have, have it side by side, truly side by side, ran at the exact same time at the exact same place with able-bodied stuff would just be so cool. I would definitely like to get up there and, at least for a couple of years, travel and do that.
Feel like there is a lot of potential.
My favorite run today was probably the final run because it's the most vert I've ever skied, top to bottom.
Gonna go ski out and hopefully hit the slush cup.
We got to the bottom and there's a slush cup waiting for us. Actually, I think it was a first for everyone in a sit ski to hit a pond this big.
It's an ongoing mountain tradition to skim a slush pond in the spring, and this year the crew had their go at it.
Yeah, everyone got to skip across it. I dunked, but that happens.
It was going really well until my skis popped off. Both of them came off, and I Superman face first into the water and managed to keep Jeff out of it for the most part.
Try something, just go and try it, and you'd be surprised what some determination can actually get you.
Best part of the year.
Really, really great time. I enjoyed it a ton. I think everybody else did. Made some connections, met some really awesome people I'll probably stay in touch with for a really long time to come.
We had Jeff Holden helping us with the judging. We've got some really big potential to turn this into a world-class competition. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here with these events, but I feel like we're getting some traction and we're excited to be knocking down barriers.
My brother wouldn't admit it, probably. He's very humble, but watching how this camp has sort of morphed and shaped over time, it's really become this incredible community of people and passion and snow sports, this camp and what it does for other people. It's life-changing.
You know, definitely props to the Live It, Love It guys.
Jeff's a super infectious person, and I mean, after you meet the guy, as you know, you want to be around the guy. He's a pretty amazing individual.
Able to like rip down a ski hill like you used to. The more people there is to just kind of bring up the energy level. It was so much fun.
And like the caliber of athletes was so impressive. And I just admire Jeff so much for that, because he's at the heartbeat of it all, but he doesn't even bat an eye. He's just like doing something and creating something that he needs in his life and that he loves, and it's just kind of ordinary for him.
When I look around and see some of the other guys at this event, smiles, they're hooting and hollering for each other. The Live It, Love It Foundation empowers through adventure and heals through community. If you've spent time in the mountains and you're wondering if you can get back to the mountains, or you've never explored the mountains and you think you want to, I highly recommend touching base with your local adaptive sports program. Find one near you, talk to some folks, and experience it.
If you're someone who loves skiing and loves snowboarding, loves being on the mountain, I think volunteering and helping people re-achieve that part of their life is really valuable.
The message I would say would be anything's possible.
Everybody's just stoked for each other. It makes him feel normal again. And I think it just, like, he'll leave this and he'll be in such a better mindset for weeks or months or a year, you know?
Growing up, I had a pretty special childhood. Getting back to the mountains now, riding alongside my sister is a pretty special feeling.
A lot of rain, a lot of moisture out there, but our stoke pushed it away, I guess. High pressure stoke system.
I think the future of adaptive skiing will slowly be included into the full spectrum of skiing as we see it now. I think it's okay to ask for help. You know, that's the biggest thing.
Being, you know, that I've gone to a lot of the big mountains in the States, and this is right up there, you know, right with the best of any of the camps I've ever been to. And, you know, it totally exceeded expectations. When you see them on the hill, when you see any sit skier on the hill, you get so much stoked. Like, everyone's just so pumped.
Director Thomas Bowerbank. Producers Jeff Scott, Thomas Bowerbank. Assistant Director Eric Happy Hansen. Director of Photography Thomas Bowerbank. Additional cameras Don Nesbitt, Lindsay Gerke. Sound mixer Dan Harden. Special thanks to all the volunteers. Integrated Describe Video Specialist M. Williams. Regional Content Specialist Sylvie Faquette. Coordinating Producer Jennifer Johnson. Director Production Karen I. Director Programming Brian Perdue. Vice President Programming and Production John Melville. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2019 Accessible Media Inc.